Welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. I'm Sheila Moniga and I'm super happy you found this channel. Please click subscribe and hit notifications. That way you never miss an episode. And we're counting down to a brand new season. But before that starts, we take a look back at conversations that really inspired us to live, love, and grow. On this episode of My Motivate, Kenya's leading hype man, Guda Man, breaks down the hype on faith, fame, and fortune.
If you were going to introduce yourself,
Yes.
you can never do what he does. So introduce yourself.
I go by the name of Guda Man Dala Kula Genje Kobomadobo Judesia Dana for Shizo. And if the name sounds nice, you say it twice. Guda Man Dala Kula Genje Kobomadobo Judesia Dana for Shizo.
What does that mean?
Ah is my second name. No, I'm just kidding. It's how do you
How
call
am I
it?
buying everything you're telling me?
I usually use it in my sounds
Right.
and music, like the thing.
Yeah.
You'll find it in all my music, in
Okay.
all my dance music. Yeah.
So I know you as a hype man.
Yes.
And you're also a musician.
Yes.
And you're also a very serious Christian.
Yes.
And you're also,
Bias and
I got to meet you at a function and there was this wonderful promotion that was happening and you got on stage. And for the first time in my life, I thought to myself, I need to get a hype man. What is a hype man?
A hype man is someone who brings life into the event, unlike an MC who runs the event,
Okay.
So your work is basically to hype up people who are dead. Not like dead literally, but the audience
Going to take it to a certain cemetery, I know.
No.
There's a little bit of life that needs to be infused in there.
No,
but right.
Yeah, if the crowd is hyped up,
Yeah.
then you don't have to be there.
Did you know you were always going to be a hype man? Where did you learn? Who taught you? Are there people that you studied under? Was there a school, college? How does this work?
I hope you know people. Some guys were called gospel fathers.
Yes, I
you
do.
know.
Who doesn't know
Yeah.
them?
So their mother had a church in Congo. So one day I had them, singing outside their church. And so because we were a group of people, so we went to see what's happening. And then we met them and then they were like, oh, really, you guys, what do you do? At that time we called ourselves Wasani because we were a group of 15 guys. So they were like, okay, if you guys are Wasanis, then do whatever show us what you can do. And then they gave us the mic and then we began to sing whatever we were singing. I remember at that time, we sang a song called Njoni Tuingie Kwenye Church. So Njoni Tuingie Kwenye church at that time. And then they were like, oh, you guys are really great. You're supposed to be coming to church every now and then. So one day our pastor, called for a kesha on a Friday night. I remember it was in May 2005. At that kesha, we all got born again, the 15 guys. And then from there, we were mentored by Pastor Rosemary Githiomi. We were mentored by gospel fathers at that time. And then there was something, I loved about Samu of Gospel Fathers. He was the short guy with a lot of energy on stage, the guy with a husky voice. And so I was like, okay, one day I want to sing like you, The hype was not there at all, but I loved the energy, And because I was very, loud and everything, so one day there was an event in Kawangware. So the MC didn't show up. And so I was asked if I can step in. So I ended up emceeing and I ended up making people dance. And then people liked the dancing part more than the emceeing part at that time. So, I decided, okay, I can do music, but when the time comes, I will venture into this thing we're calling MC and hype. So I dropped out of school, in 2006.
When you say you dropped out of school, this is high school.
Now, the high school,
Right.
because we didn't have, fees and everything. And then later on, I met DJ Moz of K Crew. So we went for high school mission. So one day he asked me, apart from doing music, what else do you do? I told him about my academic, stuff. And then later on, he told me, what, can you go back to school? I was like, yes, I'll go back to school. So he paid my school fees.
Wow.
And then I went to Nairobi Milimani Secondary School. Big up, shout out to you guys.
Wow.
Then I cleared in the year 2010. So after I cleared high school, I called Moz again. I told him, I'm done with high school. Is there a space for ministry in K Crew? He was like, okay, come. And then now that's when I decided to do now Hype, because there were a lot of artists, Kina Dadio and Giuliani, MOG, and I couldn't get a space. So I decided, you know what, if I want to get a space into the van, I need to do something different.
You have to have something different. You have to have something you're putting on the table.
Yeah, and then I was like, if I'm an MC, I would never be left out. But if I'm an artist, you know, there are choices. You know, leo Guda anakuja, wacha nani akamkesho. So being an MC and hype man helped me to be in all events, in high schools, in campuses, and in all major K Crew concerts, you know. So I decided, you know what, why don't I just take this thing seriously? In 2013, I met Kevin Muley, Mo Sound CEO. And then, you know, I just shared with him, and Caberere as well. I shared with them, you know, the idea of a hype man. And then they were like, okay, there's a tour called Groove Tour. And they were going to Nakuru. So they decided, you know what, why don't we just go with you and see what you can do? And then I went there. And that was my first breakthrough, you know, was in Nakuru.
Now, moving away from hype to music, because it's all about finding ways to make ends meet, and music is one of those things.
Yeah.
You've recently
launched
a new song.
Yeah, it's called Ndomboloya Solo, and Ndomboloya Solo actually means King Solomon's dance, because Solomon was the son to David, and we know that David was a dancer. So like father, like son, and blood is thicker, you know. So I decided to come up with the idea, you know, just reading the story of Solomon, being able to write more than 1,000 songs, you know, in his book, and, you know, more than 1,200, you know, proverbs. I'm like, this guy must be a dancer. If he was able to sing like praise songs and fast songs, you know, he could be able to dance. So I just came up with the idea of solo, so I can do Ndomboloya Solo, which is very unique.
For somebody who's watching and would like to follow in your footsteps, is thinking this is the direction that they want to go, do you mentor? Is it something you would encourage someone else to take up? Or is it really a very difficult place to be? So if you can get your medical degree just in Ananoko, what would you say?
If you want to be a hype man or a hype lady, you know, you can, it's possible. Nothing is impossible. And then the fact that we did it, you can also did it.
You can also did it.
You can also did it, like they say in Zimbabwe.
Right.
So yeah, so it's something that I would recommend if you know that you're very, you know, outgoing, you're very courageous on stage. You can talk to multitude of, you know, crowds and everything. Yeah, then go for it. And if you think you can make people dance, and you know that you can dance, you can do it. Yeah. So hype is the next big thing.